Picture this. It's -5 degrees Celsius outside. Snow is gently falling, and there's a baby sleeping peacefully in a stroller. Completely alone, no parent in sight. Your first instinct? Panic. Call the authorities. Rush to save this abandoned child. But in Nordic countries, this scene is as normal as morning coffee. What if I told you that this seemingly shocking practice is actually backed by decades of research and might be one of the secrets behind why Nordic countries consistently rank as the happiest places on Earth? What if everything we believe about protecting our children is backwards? Today, we're diving into a parenting practice that challenges every assumption about child safety, immune system development, and what it means to truly trust your community. This isn't just about babies sleeping outside. It's about a fundamental difference in how entire cultures approach risk, resilience, and human development. Here's what Nordic countries understand that the rest of us miss. Sometimes the most caring thing you can do is step back and let nature do what it's designed to do. Are you ready to challenge everything you thought you knew about childhood? Let's be honest. If you're watching this from America, China, or most Western countries, the idea of leaving your baby outside alone feels like parental negligence. In many places, you could literally have child services called on you for this behavior. I remember the first time I witnessed this phenomenon during a trip to Helsinki. I was walking past a cafe when I noticed several strollers lined up outside, each containing a peacefully sleeping baby. No parents anywhere in sight. My American brain immediately went into panic mode. Where were the parents? How could they just abandon their children like this? But here's where it gets fascinating. These weren't abandoned babies. These were loved, cherished children whose parents were inside the cafe, enjoying coffee and conversation, checking on their little ones periodically through windows and baby monitors. In Finland, Denmark, Norway, and Sweden, this practice is so normal that daycare centers have designated outdoor sleeping areas with rows of strollers. Hotels offer baby parking services where tourists can safely leave their strollers outside while dining. Some apartment buildings have special balcony areas designed specifically for outdoor infant sleeping. The cultural gap is massive. While Western parents obsess over hand sanitizers and bubble wrapping their children, Nordic parents are bundling up their babies and wheeling them outside in sub-zero temperatures for their daily naps. This isn't recklessness. It's a completely different philosophy about childhood, risk, and community trust. Nordic societies operate on what researchers call high social trust, the belief that your neighbors, strangers, and institutions genuinely care about collective well-being. Think about your own community. Would you trust leaving something valuable unattended for hours? Your phone? Your laptop? In Nordic countries, that something valuable is literally their most precious possession, their children. But here's the twist that should make us all pause. The data suggests they might be onto something revolutionary. Nordic children have lower rates of allergies, stronger immune systems, better sleep patterns, and these countries consistently produce the world's happiest adults. Could there be a connection between sleeping babies outside and thriving societies? The answer reveals something profound about human nature itself. Here's where Nordic intuition meets cutting-edge science, and the results are remarkable. Research from the University of Helsinki tracked thousands of children over decades and found that those who nap outdoors regularly show significantly improved immune function compared to their indoor sleeping counterparts. But why does this work? Think about this. Indoor air can contain up to 5 times more pollutants than outdoor air, even in winter. When babies breathe crisp, clean air during sleep, they're getting higher quality oxygen that directly impacts brain development and immune system strength. It's like giving their developing systems premium fuel instead of regular. But there's something even more fascinating happening. When babies sleep in varying outdoor temperatures, safely bundled, of course, their bodies learn to regulate temperature more efficiently. Scientists call this metabolic flexibility, essentially training their system to adapt to environmental changes. Dr. Erika von Mutius from Munich University discovered something that challenges everything we think we know about protecting children. Her research revealed that children exposed to diverse outdoor environments develop more robust gut bacteria, the foundation of immune system strength. While we're sterilizing everything our children touch, Nordic babies are building internal armies of beneficial bacteria. Here's the paradox that might blow your mind. Controlled exposure to mild stressors like temperature variation actually strengthens stress response systems. Think of it as stress inoculation, small manageable challenges that build resilience for bigger life stressors. Nordic parents intuitively understood what science is now proving. Our ancestors evolved outdoors. Our children's bodies are literally designed to thrive in natural environments, not in hermetically sealed indoor spaces with filtered air and constant temperatures. There's also something happening at the community level that's even more intriguing. When entire communities practice outdoor sleeping, children are exposed to a diverse range of beneficial bacteria from their shared environment, essentially building what researchers call a community immune system. Studies tracking Nordic children into adulthood show lower rates of asthma, allergies, and autoimmune conditions. They also demonstrate higher stress tolerance and better emotional regulation. These aren't just healthier children, they're becoming more resilient humans. This isn't about neglecting children. It's about understanding that sometimes the most caring thing we can do is allow controlled exposure to the natural elements that have shaped human development for millennia. To understand why Nordic parents can leave babies outside, we need to understand something profound about Nordic society that goes far beyond parenting. It's a concept called samfundsinn, community spirit that transcends mere politeness and becomes a way of life. In Nordic cultures, child rearing isn't seen as a private family matter, but as a community responsibility. This creates what sociologists call collective efficacy, the belief that neighbors will intervene positively in children's lives. When a Nordic parent leaves their baby outside a cafe, they're not leaving them alone. They're leaving them in the care of an entire community that shares responsibility for child welfare. Shop owners glance out windows. Passers-by check on strollers. Other parents keep casual watch. It's an invisible safety net woven from social trust. This trust didn't develop overnight. It's built on centuries of social cooperation necessary for survival in harsh climates. When winter storms could kill, communities learned that individual survival depended on collective care. Trust became a survival tool. Compare this to individualistic cultures where parents feel they must personally guard against all possible threats. The weight of constant vigilance is exhausting. Nordic parents can delegate some of that vigilance to their community because that community has proven trustworthy over generations. Here's the parenting paradox that might change how you think about safety. By trusting others with their children's safety, Nordic parents actually create safer environments. When everyone feels responsible for all children, collective vigilance increases. This explains why Nordic countries have some of the world's lowest rates of child abduction and harm, not despite their trusting behavior, but because of it. Trust creates safety, not the other way around. Children who grow up in high-trust environments learn to both extend and expect trust. This creates a positive cycle where each generation maintains and strengthens community bonds. The outdoor sleeping practice becomes a daily ritual of community trust, a visible demonstration that we're all in this together. But what happens when you don't have this level of community trust? How can you adapt these insights to your own context? Now, before you start wheeling your baby outside in a blizzard, let's understand exactly how Nordic parents make this practice safe and systematic. Because this isn't casual parenting, it's sophisticated environmental adaptation based on generations of refined knowledge. Nordic parents follow strict temperature parameters. Generally, babies sleep outdoors in temperatures ranging from +10 degrees to -10 degrees Celsius. Beyond these ranges, they adapt. Warmer days mean shaded areas and shorter naps. Colder days mean moving indoors or adjusting timing. The clothing system is ingenious. Nordic babies don't just wear warm clothes. They're dressed in sophisticated layering systems. Moisture-wicking base layers, insulation layers that trap warmth, and outer shells that protect from wind and precipitation. Parents can add or remove layers like adjusting a thermostat. The equipment is equally thoughtful. Nordic strollers are engineered for outdoor sleeping with better insulation, weather shields, and built-in temperature monitoring. Many parents use sleeping bags specifically designed for outdoor infant sleep, complete with safety features and temperature indicators. Modern Nordic parents use advanced monitoring technology. Baby monitors that track temperature, humidity, and sound. Some even have cameras and health sensors. This isn't about abandoning technology, it's about using it to enable natural practices safely. The timing is strategic. Outdoor naps typically last 1 to 3 hours, depending on weather and the baby's adaptation level. Parents start with shorter periods and gradually increase as babies build tolerance. It's progressive adaptation, not shock therapy. But here's what's most important. Nordic parents don't just follow rules, they develop intuition. They read their baby's responses, understand their local climate patterns, and make daily decisions based on multiple factors. It's parenting as environmental partnership. The emergency protocols are clear. Every Nordic parent has rapid access to warm spaces, contact systems for help, and clear indicators for when to bring babies inside immediately. Safety isn't sacrificed for principle. This sophisticated approach reveals something crucial. Outdoor sleeping isn't about being tough or careless. It's about being thoughtful, systematic, and responsive to both children's needs and environmental conditions. So how can you apply Nordic insights without literally leaving your baby outside in São Paulo, Miami, or Manchester? The principles behind outdoor sleeping offer profound lessons that transcend specific practices. Here's what Nordic parenting teaches us about raising resilient children in any culture. First, the principle of calculated risk-taking. Nordic parents distinguish between unnecessary dangers and beneficial challenges. They ask, what's the actual risk versus my perceived fear? This thinking can transform how we approach playground time, nature exploration, or allowing children age-appropriate independence. Instead of asking what could go wrong, Nordic parents ask what could go right if my child learns to handle this challenge. Second, the power of community engagement. Even if you can't recreate Nordic trust levels immediately, you can build micro-communities, engage neighbors, create parent networks, establish mutual support systems. The goal isn't leaving babies unattended, but creating environments where multiple adults share positive responsibility for children's well-being. Third, nature integration as non-negotiable. You don't need sub-zero temperatures to benefit from outdoor exposure. Regular time in fresh air, experiencing varying weather conditions safely, and natural light can improve sleep, immune function, and emotional regulation in any climate. Fourth, environmental adaptation builds resilience. Nordic parents understand that controlled environmental challenges strengthen children. This might mean allowing kids to experience different temperatures, textures, and natural conditions rather than maintaining constant artificial comfort. Here are practical adaptations for non-Nordic parents. Make daily outdoor exposure non-negotiable, regardless of minor weather inconveniences. Invest in relationships with neighbors and local families who share your values. Learn to distinguish between actual dangers and anxiety-driven fears. Prioritize fresh air circulation and natural light in sleep spaces. Expose children to age-appropriate challenges that build confidence and resilience gradually. Perhaps most importantly, Nordic parenting reveals that what we often call protection might sometimes be limitation. By shielding children from all discomfort, we might prevent them from developing crucial adaptive capacities. The goal isn't to copy Nordic practices exactly, but to understand the wisdom behind them and adapt those insights to create thriving children in your specific context. Nordic, parents sleeping their babies outside reveals something profound about how different cultures approach childhood, safety, and human development. Maybe the question isn't, how can they leave babies outside? But rather, what have we lost by keeping our children constantly indoors and under direct supervision? Nordic societies have maintained practices that align with how humans developed for thousands of years. in communities, exposed to natural elements, building resilience through manageable challenges. They've resisted the modern tendency to eliminate all discomfort from childhood. This doesn't mean abandoning safety or common sense. It means expanding our definition of what truly keeps children safe and helps them thrive. Nordic approaches suggest that raising resilient, happy children might require less control and more trust. Trust in our communities, trust in our children's adaptive capacities, and trust in practices that have sustained human societies through millennia. The neuroscience backs this up. Children's brains develop best when challenged appropriately. Stress inoculation builds stronger neural pathways. Environmental variety creates cognitive flexibility. Community trust develops social intelligence. Your turn. What's one Nordic-inspired change you could make this week? Could you increase your child's outdoor time regardless of weather? Build stronger connections with neighbors? Reassess which risks are actually worth taking. The happiest countries in the world might be teaching us that happiness begins in childhood, not through constant protection, but through trusted communities and deep connection to the natural world. They understand that preparing children for life means exposing them to life, gradually and thoughtfully. Sometimes the most radical thing you can do as a parent is trust. Trust your community. Trust your child's resilience. And trust that the natural world has wisdom we've forgotten in our quest to control every variable. What Nordic practice will you explore next in your own journey toward raising resilient, happy humans?